You know, for years, my friends have been telling me to get into content creation, and it's usually after a long night of deep philosophical and theological conversation. And it was my friend group in high school, and many of those friends are off in their corners of the world now, and even my friends in college, not knowing, but most of my high school friends, they say the same thing. They say, "Man, you should go and you should help people with your knowledge." Um, I think all of this time I've denied kind of that suggestion of them just because I feel like I don't have the authority to do so. Because to the world, I look like a very intelligent follower of Christ and things like that. But obviously, I know within that I'm just as broken as everyone else, if not more. And so I had a pretty rough night last night, and I kind of had this idea of like in my ministry, leading middle schoolers and high schoolers and just students all around. I have this basically this mission statement that if I can help just one kid not feel the pains that I've felt, then it's worth it, right? And that fuels my vulnerability and my transparency. And so this morning, I figured there's no reason not to start something, right? Because there's a lot of pain out there, and I don't think it's fair that a lot of people should be able to feel it, at least alone. And so I named this channel The Wish to Live because I don't. Because I'm an introvert by nature. Um, but when I'm in ministry, I'm an extrovert. I'm fueled by the Spirit. I'm known for holding doors and huge smiles and saying hey to people and handing out Jesus bracelets and things like that. But it all comes back around to when I'm sat here at my PC or laid down in my bed, that there's nothing to distract me from my own overthinking and the temptations of depression and self hatred and things like that. And so I hope that, wherever this goes, I have no idea what's going to happen because, I don't even have the slightest grasp on the near future. I'm just trying to eat. um, but I hope that I do eventually wish to live because I don't like that my most consistent prayer is for death. I I tried to kill myself in high school. The summer after my freshman year, I went home, which is multiple states away because my families are split. Um, I went home to take care of my grandma, who was on hospice, and it was supposed to just be a couple of weeks, but she ended up, um, surviving the whole summer basically. So I got to spend a couple very beautiful months with that side of my family and just with my grandma. And I wanted a really long run one night um, because I wanted to hurt myself. Um, I ran. This is out like kind of the country, and so I ran from my grandma's house all the way out to my uncle's house, which was I don't even know how long. And it got pretty painful. It got really bad. I had to walk on the way back, and um, but I got home really late, I got to my grandma's house really late, and plopped in bed, and then the next morning she was gone, and after that I tried to shoot myself with my grandpa's gun, um, and it didn't go off, and I had a I had basically what I say, a vision from God, which paraphrased um, included his promise that if I chose to live, he would make it worth it. And I did. I didn't pull the trigger a second time. I carried my grandma to her grave, and I kind of hid everything that happened that summer for a good long while, because that also happened to be the summer that I got addicted to porn as well. So just a very, very bad summer all around. Even though I had so many great moments, with my grandma and with that side of my family, it was kind of underlined by some pretty bad things. And so eventually, though, junior year of high school comes, and I start, kind of getting things back together. I I beat porn, right? Quit that. Got with the most beautiful girl at my church. Um, a little bit into that fall semester, we were 16. Started leading a middle school group at the church there. Had an amazing friend group. And for those, 2 years, junior year and senior year of high school, I consider that to be the most enjoyable time of my life, just because of those people, because I had a church family. Even though I moved out at 17 and had to support myself, and there's a lot of challenges, it didn't feel bad because I had so much love just around me. I had my girlfriend, who I chose to come to college with, um, and I had all of my friends, right? I was going on mission trips, I was leading groups every week, and it was beautiful. And it was amazing. And naturally, um, time passes. You let it pass, right? You get stagnant, you get complacent, um, and it kind of just wears down. And so my girlfriend left me exactly 1 year and 9 days ago. Um, Most of that friend group is, off doing whatever. I'm still close to some of them. I live with one. Um, the one I'm closest to, who I consider my brother, he's in the army. There's another one I see a couple, yeah, I see around on campus here at school, at the university. But the rest are kind of just, they're doing whatever they're doing. And those people in that church are no longer my family just because of the way kind of the breakup went. The ones I'm still close to, like, we're good, but for the most part, I think, 3 years of ministry over at that church is kind of just unrecoverably overshadowed by how the breakup went, and I haven't made an ounce of progress in my emotional state, I should say. I mean, mentally, yeah, I'm mature. I've gained emotional intelligence. Honestly, it's been a good year on paper, right? But it doesn't feel like that, you know? I've helped so many people, I've served so many people, and I get a lot of fulfillment from that. I feel amazing when I'm serving. In fact, I feel useless and depressed whenever I'm not, actually, which is not a very healthy way to derive your worth, but I'm here. I have a lot of self-awareness now because I think towards the end of my old relationship, um, I was just kind of like sitting, chilling, letting time pass, and I was blind to a lot of things, and I let a lot of stuff slide, and it kind of just deconstructed in front of my, under my nose without me noticing. But now that she snapped me out of that, um, I I have a lot of self awareness, and I know a lot about what needs to change and what should be different, but I don't know how to change it. I I don't know what effect my words are gonna have. I mean, I know for a fact there's people that hurt the same way I do. People that don't really know why they live. Last night I had to come up with reasons, and the one I really settled on was that I couldn't leave my little sisters. The When I tried to kill myself in high school, it wasn't an issue actually, because they were too young to remember me, and they would only know that they had an older brother if my mom told them and showed them pictures or whatever else. And so I that wasn't really a barrier to my suicide back then, but now they're at an age where they'd remember me just of their own accord. So I can't kill myself because it's not fair to them. I also told God I'd live for him, and the night my ex left, she made me promise not to kill myself, and I promised her that I'd find a way to live without her. So I guess I'm still bound to that, even though that's kind of unhealthy for me to think about it that way. But I don't know, it just sucks when for 3 years, 16 and 19 is a very formative time. For 3 years, you're entirely committed to a person and you love them and you want eternity with them. I knew I wanted eternity with her when we started dating at 16, and so, but when you realize for 3 years that you loved each other in entirely different ways and that you basically had fooled yourself the whole time, it hits you, right? And so I like I said, I don't know what these words are gonna do. When I post them, I don't know if someone's gonna listen to 12 minutes and 48 seconds of me, yapping, just kind of just saying stuff. But you gotta start somewhere, and if I can be so successful in ministry and look so good in Bible study and have the world, the people around me convinced that I'm a mature source of joyful wisdom, but really be no different than I was when I was sat on her bed as she gave me her breakup speech, then I know for an absolute fact that there's people that are where I'm at and definitely worse. So someone's got to help. Hopefully I can help myself throughout this process too. We'll see. But for now, I guess thanks for listening. I maybe I'll use this as a reason to live. Hopefully hopefully I can use this as like an anchor, right? Something to motivate me, that kind of thing. But I love you. I'm glad you're alive. All the things I wish someone would say to me, I'll say here. You deserve peace and happiness, and as a Christian, and from my perspective, it shouldn't feel like the only reason you're alive is so that God can use you, right? Because I'm never gonna doubt God just because of the experiences I've had and things like that. I'll never doubt his existence. I'll never stop following him. But man, it really just feels like he kept me alive just to use me. And even if that's the case, then that's what it's gonna be. But I wanna be happy, with life. I want to be happy serving, so truly happy. But how about this? If I promise to see you tomorrow, to have something for you to listen to tomorrow, you have to meet me there. Just gotta make it to tomorrow, okay? I'll see you then.